Hi, this is Aaron Eisberg Nog from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and you're listening to Beyond Trek. You can follow them on Twitter at Beyond Trek Pod and on Facebook at Beyond Trek Productions. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Great River provide.
This is Beyond Trek Podcast, your source for Star Trek on social media and around the web. I'm Big J.
I'm Watney.
And I'm Dag, the Trivia Master. You can find us on Facebook at Beyond Trek Podcast and on Twitter at Beyond Trek Pod.
Red alert.
Okay, hold on a minute.
Okay, what episode is this?
Okay.
This is episode 6.
We're doing episode 6. Okay, episode 6. So, prune juice.
Are we rolling?
Tranya. Oh, yes, we're rolling.
Okay.
We're rolling
Okay,
now,
good.
Watney. What's your drink of choice? You got Romulan Ale, Klingon
I
Bloodline.
have vodka
Oh.
with some strawberry watermelon juice.
Ooh, that sounds good. Okay.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've got my prune
Tito's.
juice Warriors drink.
Love it.
So which episode we're talking about today? It's episode
We're talking
6.
about episode
The
6.
Impossible Cube.
The Impossible Cube. Okay, well,
And
Well,
before we move forward, everybody, if you haven't seen the episode, there's going to be a crazy amount of spoilers. So please watch the episode before you watch this show, or continue watching this episode fully informed. Back to you, Jay.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spoilers.
So
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm Big J here with Watney and Dag. So we're going to dig into Star Trek Picard, Season 1, Episode 6, The Impossible Box.
Mm-hmm.
Watney, would you like to start us off?
Oh, for real?
Because, well, yes, that's
Teacher,
because you said you
Can I
actually...
go first?
Well, you said you actually liked this episode, which
Okay,
is
yeah,
monumental.
yeah. It's true. I have been a little
Curmudgeon?
critical, curmudgeon, sure, a little critical of the show. But I'm still going to watch it, of course. I love Star Trek and I want to see what happens. But in terms of investment, it just simply really wasn't there for me up until episode 6. And now I would say I'm fairly invested. We got to see a lot of cool shit. Soji ended up being a huge badass. We had like this weird moment between like the ship's captain and the doctor. And I'm just like, that feels forced.
Yep.
Does anyone else feel like that's forced?
Yep.
I mean, not that I wouldn't kiss Captain Soccer after murdering my longtime lover, you know?
That's what made it feel really odd and very creepy. Let me just kill my lover and then hook up with the ship's captain.
Yeah, it was like so sudden. I felt like sure they had a conversation, but like I personally enjoy romance that has a long, slow burn because I feel like that just can add so many elements to the story before that's actually admitted or resolved. So
This isn't romance. This is I just murdered my boyfriend and need to feel better about myself.
Yeah, I need like human touch. So can I just have that? Yeah. So let's think about this episode. We see a lot of shit. We see.
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Yep. Start
There's
from
the
beginning.
dream.
I did like it. That's my review. First off, but let's get into more details.
We
I
can
did
go
really
home,
like
everybody.
it.
Watney liked it.
Yes, we will log off now. The shortest episode ever. Watney liked it.
Yeah, it's like stopping like Rocket League when you're platinum, like because you've reached the level, but now you don't want to get lower anymore. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So we start with the dream. Little Soji is walking down a hall.
True.
She sees her dad's lab. Dad
True.
calls her name. She wakes up next to Boyfriend Evil. That's my name for him. Boyfriend Evil.
Boyfriend Evil.
I call him Justin Bieber Romulan.
I call him Narek Lovejoy.
Narek Lovejoy.
Yeah,
His name
Lovejoy
is Narek, isn't it?
From Game of Thrones.
It
That's
is
not his
Narek.
name. Which we're gonna get to soon. No, that's
not my
his
name. His name is Ryan. Spoilers.
Wait, I missed that. Are you saying the Romulan's name is Ryan?
His name is Rai Yan.
Oh, there's a
Rai space YAN.
There's a real name.
Yan.
There's a real name that they have, but then for outsiders, they give them their outsider's name. Now, what's his real name again? Help me. It's Ryan.
Ryan. Like
Ryan.
Think about Stewie doing whip.
Whip.
Do that.
Cool whip. Okay, got it.
Ryan.
Ah, okay, that's easy now.
Let's just call him Ryan for the rest of the episode.
Okay, so Ryan.
So she has the dream.
Mm-hmm.
She's walking down the hall. opens the door, goes in where she's not supposed to, and like in any recurrent dream, there's an abrupt end, which prevents you from going further. And in this case, it's Justin Bieber Romulan's job to get her to go further, because that will unlock, for some reason, the home world of Soji. Is that correct?
Right.
The synthetics or something,
Where
which is
where
really
she was
weird
made.
because I didn't realize that there's like more of them.
Well,
I don't think there are. I
Mm-mm.
think they're on the wrong path.
Okay, so they're misinformed, perhaps.
Jay?
Well, okay. So the way I took it was that these twins, the Romulans are trying to find the location of where they were created or born, and I don't think that we're supposed to imply that this was the birthplace of sense. It wasn't. This is just where Bruce Maddox went when the after the attack on Mars happened and everything got shut down. So he was so close. He felt that he was so close to either no, they weren't going to be able to recreate Data or soon type Android, just like we've said before. But he felt that he was close because he had that theory of if you can take one positron from the positronic brain, you can replicate, you can recreate that life. So what he did was he left, went into hiding, went to this planet, created the twins, and that's what the Romulans are trying to find. They're trying to find that location. What they think they're going to find there, I don't know.
Maybe more information about where to find others, or maybe the Zhat Vash is on the scent of something else, and we don't know what it is. But they know that Soji is the key, the only key left. So yeah, she is in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
She wakes up in bed to Justin Bieber Romulan.
Ryan.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna get that. I'm just gonna call him Ryan.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
Ryan the Romulan.
Wakes up to Ryan. They do some cuddles. Let's pause for thought. No. He leaves abruptly like he always does.
That's not my name.
He's like, yeah, he's just like, I gotta go again.
Well, he's not a morning cuddler. You know, I mean, we got stuff to do.
Whenever she wants him to be a certain way, he's never that way. But whenever she doesn't want him to do something, he's the way that she wants when he's not doing that. Does that make sense? Like, he's just manipulative.
Edgy, oppositional guy.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I seriously thought before this episode he was playing us and her, and that he wasn't in love with her, but he almost could not kill her. Like, he almost couldn't do it. I feel like he was clearly freaking out.
Yes.
Like, I have to kill her now,
Yeah.
and he definitely caught some feelings.
He did, caught the feelings.
He caught the feels. So.
And then he activated the robot.
Yes. But now while this is happening, we've got, let's back up just a little bit. So they're the crew, the Fellowship of Picard is approaching. They're approaching the Borg cube, and how are we going to get in here? Well, don't know. Thinking about that, so they come up with a plan. They've got a plan, and Raffi is going to call in an old contact. And here is, while we're talking about Raffi talking her way in, let me pull this up for you. This is, let me see if I can find it. This is from r/Picard subreddit, and on Reddit, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. No, I knew I should have. Here it is. Okay. So this post is titled "Raffi is a fucking legend." This is by user half and half. So half and half. Okay, so here's what this person said about Raffi in this scene. She talked her way onto a Romulan-controlled Borg cube while completely shit-faced. That woman is amazing. And what that made me think of is when you're out with your friends and you're totally banjoed and you talk your way in. You got to talk your way in with the bouncer, negotiate with the bouncer, try to get you and your junk friends in. That's exactly what it felt like, because I think we've all been there. You know, our negotiating skills are 100 times better once we've had a little liquor in us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a girl, so I've never had to like
Oh,
wait in line for a club. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Probably not. No, yeah, I believe it. Just to the front of the line with you.
No, I was there at 10, left at 11:30. Wasn't even there when the lines were there. That's how I usually ended up. So, yeah, I love Raffi in this episode. You know, I've had discussions with people about how, you know, Picard seems like very sarcastic towards her now. I mean, he basically applauded sarcastically after she was done. And here she is in like so much pain, but she basically roasts him nonstop whenever they're in the same room together. So I'm not surprised that he's like done with her shit. But he basically used her to get onto the ship, and now he has Soji, and they left off somewhere. I mean, they're supposed to meet up, but they were just like, bye. So I just really feel for her. Go ahead.
I got the sincere impression. I don't know, man. I felt so bad for Raffi. She, you know, from the last episode to this one, you know, she's lost everything, and I just see Picard asking more and more and more from her, and she's not getting anything.
Yeah,
but I totally feel by the end of the season, her conspiracy theories will be fully redeemed. Like, she'll have figured it out. She'll be redeemed. Her son's gonna find her. They're gonna have it. It's gonna be totally predictable. But I can't wait for it to happen.
Yeah, she is for sure one of the most interesting characters on the show, because she doesn't tell. She shows. She shows the audience things. She doesn't come out and say, this is how it is. You know, she had that interaction with her son. We saw that interaction go down while the pain was occurring. It's not like she's telling us of it later. And I think like she is definitely one of the more interesting characters, and I am excited to see where her arc goes. And I didn't mean to sound insensitive earlier. She does roast Picard a lot, but Picard obviously pissed her off. And so, you know, he's kind of like trying to get all the juice he can out of her before like he moves on to other things, because he really only came to her for help whenever he needed her help. It's not like he was checking in to say hi, which she even knows. So
right.
Yeah, I think she is in good hands with the captain, and I'm interested to see what happens for sure.
Well, now the way that they handled Picard's anxiety and PTSD at the thought of going back onto the Borg cube, and we get a lot of flashbacks from the Best of Both Worlds, TNG's season 3 finale, season 4 premiere, Best of Both Worlds part 1 and 2, and scenes from Star Trek First Contact. So they are really making sure that this thread is there, that the audience knows that there is a history. And I was kind of surprised that they went this way with it. It almost seems like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I thought at the end of Star Trek First Contact, it seemed like maybe Picard had found some kind of peace. I don't know if peace is the right word, but closure, reconciliation with the whole Borg experience. But it seems like that didn't happen. It almost feels like for him it's fresh. That this is fresh. This is still a very traumatic experience, and not saying that he shouldn't be traumatized, or I'm trying to dismiss that. I like how this was portrayed with him, because no, we shouldn't expect that he's suddenly okay and that he's all right. He's on a Borg cube. And the last time he was on a Borg cube was when he was assimilated, was when he was controlled to destroy 39 ships at Wolf 359, including that in which is Ben Sisko's from Deep Space Nine, his wife, Jennifer.
Maybe it's not just the assimilation that's harrowing him. It's knowing that he was forced to lead the charge against 11,000 Starfleet officers, many of which were probably his friends.
Yes.
In a bid to assimilate Earth. And it was an almost unstoppable bid. The Borg got closer. The Borg got closer than anybody else, with possibly the exception of the Xindi, which happened 200 years prior, and the Breen, who basically gave the Earth a black eye in San Francisco. But you know, the Breen didn't go through 11,000 lives to get there.
Yeah, the writers did. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say that factors into the weight.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders. I think that's affecting how he's interacting with this new crew, because I think he's really still back in the days of Data. You know, that's what's driving him to pursue this mission out of this obligation and duty to this long dead friend who this may be a relative of. He has kind of his eyes on the prize there, but I will say, in regards to the Borg and Picard's reaction to being back on a cube, the writers did an excellent job of priming us for that reaction that he had, the traumatic reaction, by having Seven have a conversation with him about did you get your humanity back?
I love that conversation. I love the conversation with
and
people.
Jonathan Frakes. Perfect ending. I mean, not the total end, but the last time we see them interact, discussing the nature of life post Borg. And what is it that Hugh calls them post Borg? XBs?
XBs for X-Borg.
XBs. So two XBs talking about it. And before we are even near the cube, we're still on a side mission here. They have this conversation about what it's like to be an XB. And it really primed us very well to hear the mindset of both of these characters moving forward, and really laid into the reaction he had and made it a lot more like, oh yeah, this is still obviously a huge deal to him.
It was. And when he's on the cube, I mean, he's got all these flashbacks, the anxiety. He almost falls off of a catwalk, but he sees Hugh.
I was so nervous when there was no handles there. I was like, don't fall.
Right. I mean, they need to have handles there. Should be safe. I mean, that is not a very good, OSHA regulation.
We fed you transporter coordinates to a very dangerous place.
Right. Thanks.
Good luck, old man.
That was.
I mean, what if his hip would have gave out?
What I really liked? What I liked about that scene when he beams there and the two XBs show up and grab him, they played that trailer off way differently. The trailer makes it look like, oh crap, Picard's getting nabbed. He went to the wrong part of the cube. The part where that little badge
he's about
flashes the wrong color.
He's about to get got.
And so I was like, please no. I don't need Locutus showing up. Frakes hasn't been on yet. Locutus can't be here right now.
Right.
But they grab him and he's having a full-blown panic attack. And then Hugh was like, they're trying to help you. And Picard gets his grounding back and looks around and he sees that they're just balancing him.
Yeah.
And he walks up to Hugh and they're very happy to see each other.
I love my Hugh little baby sweet boy.
We have one of the graphics in here somewhere of Picard and Hugh embracing. And that was actually something that Del Arco and Stewart improvised just before filming.
Oh, that's so
cool. Did they really?
I didn't know that.
A hug between the two of them.
Yeah. I almost feel like Hugh gave him those coordinates knowing he wanted it kind of in an obsolete area, like in an area where people weren't going to see him too much,
probably,
so that he could assess the situation. And I almost think like maybe he has like these XBs that are like on his side, that bodyguards. He has like bodyguards, like almost maybe a little following kind of that are like very loyal to him because of the project. And Loved seeing him again. It really just warmed my heart so much to see Picard have somebody on his side that loves him.
Yeah.
So would they? This is probably focusing on the wrong thing, but would it really, after 14 years, they would still be de-assimilating drones that run that cube?
Oh yeah, it's a huge. I mean, the cubes are huge, right?
Cubes have
Dad,
thousands of drones.
What's the standard complement?
What's the standard complement you would know of a
50,000.
cube?
50,000.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
if you think about a city that's 3 kilometers square.
Mm-hmm.
You can easily fit 50,000 people in that much area.
Okay.
And we see in I don't know, I think it's Dark Frontier or something or Unimatrix Zero, where the Borg Queen is like, there's a Borg sphere. It's got 50,000 people on it. I can't hear 2 of them, so I'm gonna blow it up.
Yep, whole thing gone.
So she does that several times in that short 30-second sequence. Here's a sphere, here's a cube, here's a matrix, thousands, millions of drones, but 3 of them are disconnected somehow. So I'm gonna wipe the whole thing out.
Because
I'm gonna look
they're
this
in
up.
the Unimatrix.
Right. So there's
Okay.
there's thousands of them on this thing, and this cube has been derelict. They found it 14 years ago. They have very limited resources, and each Borg that they free, i.e., de-assimilate, requires therapy and medical care to get them to a point where they're happy with themselves. So that can
it's
definitely
not just
take,
the mechanics. Yeah.
right. Yeah, that could definitely take more than 14 years just to find them and make sure they're not a danger.
Well,
yeah, I would imagine it also takes some time to establish like your research center and housing for all your researchers, and before you can really churn out XPs, like you really need to get like proper infrastructure in place. Otherwise, everyone's going to be assimilated.
Well,
and it makes you wonder what the hell is on that cube, because why would it just be sitting there disconnected?
I have words.
What the hell? Yeah, okay, we can talk about that. Big J, what were you going to say?
So real quick, crew complement, I Googled this, of a Borg cube between 5,000 and 179,000 drones. I don't know why
that's quite a difference.
Yeah, what the hell is okay?
Probably averages at 50, right? Probably averages at 50.
Or or more. So that's, I don't know.
5 and
probably
179.
5,000 to 179,000. So I don't know where the hell they got that number. So okay, let's just say about 160, 150,000 that were. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. That's
be a lot of people on there.
I mean, turn on any packed to capacity college football game and see all the people. That's more drones than that. Ooh, that's scary. Because I've been in front of 100,000 people, and that's a lot. Yeah, another 50,000 of that, and that's a Borg cube.
But really,
nope,
it's
forget about it.
It's just one.
We are all one. So I have a thing.
Okay.
That there was. I don't know if either of you heard this, but there was a cool Easter egg that was dropped in the middle of the episode when Hugh and Picard are talking about where Soji is. And it's really rare because if you I watched the sequence again, you can hear voices happening in the background, but the subtitles don't capture it. But the subtitles captured this line that was an announcement over the PA while Hugh and Picard are talking. And they're saying, I'm going to summarize it, but basically the PA is saying, if you are in section such and such and through such and such of the cube, there are elevated levels of chronometric radiation. Get out of there. If you feel like you've been exposed, go to the hospital or something like that. And I'm over here going, chronometric radiation, time travel.
Oh, fuck.
And there's so many people who are like, there's going to be a time travel thing because Ramda recognizes Soji from Tomorrow and this whole Armageddon crap.
Yeah.
You are so right. She's
so
like, I remember you from Tomorrow, and now there's chronotons in the fucking cube.
Right.
100% time travel. We're going there.
Like,
oh my
maybe
God.
we're going there. And I just they don't do subtitles like that unless they're a little bit more important.
They don't say
Right.
like PA over the
Right.
random mumbling by PA.
Right, it's
by,
usually
like,
random
the
mumbling.
announcer
Yeah,
or something.
they just don't normally do that. So I heard that line and I was like, oh,
You watch it with subtitles. Of course you would watch it with subtitles.
Well,
Right,
I need to
right.
start watching it with subtitles,
Well, then
honestly.
I
I'll tell
read
you
the
why.
subtitles instead of watching the episode.
I watch it with subtitles because
true.
I had to figure out how to spell Bajazel from last episode. Because I was like, did you guys say Vajazzle? What's going on here? Why did you name this person Vajazzle?
A very,
So messed up.
very interesting name, and doesn't really bring terror and fear in my heart. I mean,
Well, it's written by men.
but Jazel.
BJ, Big J,
BJ?
exposed.
So, okay, just a quick
Exposed.
little backtrack to that episode.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys think? I mean, I think there's definitely some overt subtext that Seven is a lesbian.
Or
Bi.
bi.
I
With
would
her?
go straight up bi with her.
Really?
I would.
Yeah.
She had a romance with Chakotay.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Chakotay.
Yeah, but that could be before she really discovered her true.
Could
self.
be, but I can only go by what I see on screen. I don't want
That's
to really.
true.
I don't want to force her into a box that the writers may expand on and get. My
True.
hopes
I
up.
appreciate that. I do appreciate that as a bi person myself. Like, let me just be. Just let me
Right.
fucking be.
Right.
I'm not in the mirror universe.
I do not have a
okay, can we
goatee.
talk
I
about
do.
Elnor, please?
Yes,
Because this
yes.
episode really had a lot of him going on. You got to see some action.
I love Space Legolas.
What's the first time we see him? At the very beginning when he's like basically calling out Girardi. What did he say there?
It's he can't see you're haunted by something you'd like to forget. Was I inbudding? And Girardi says that time, yes. And the
Inbudding, that was so
whole
cute.
haunted by something you'd like to forget. I think we're meant to think that she's troubled over Maddox's murder,
Mm-hmm.
but I really, really think that she is troubled over whatever, and I'm assuming this is true, Commander O mind melded with her to show her the craziness that is eating away at her sanity. There's a scene in the trailers. I actually haven't seen it, so I can't prove that it's there, but there's a scene in the trailers that show Girardi undergoing a mind meld. And the assumption is that Commander O mind melded with her, Commodore O.
Commodore. Mm-hmm.
Mind melded with her to show her the crazy, creepy truth. And if you check out the images above, at some point you'll see an image of like a planet getting blown to smithereens. There's a big old crater.
Look,
in
they're
it,
smooching there.
getting Death Starred.
That was kind of a weird kiss. I was like literally freaking. I actually could not watch it because I was like, I can't believe this is happening.
Awkward,
Don't
very
like
awkward
it.
kiss.
There it is right there. I think this is the imagery that Girardi saw. It has something to do with synths. So that's what's eating her alive. That's what she'd like to forget. And she basically said that to Maddox before she killed him. It's like, I wish I didn't see what they showed.
She could have at least told him what she knew because she was going to kill him, and that would have given him a couple seconds of satisfaction. By the way, if you're listening to us on Spotify or any other places you can listen to us online, we actually have a YouTube, and on this YouTube, you can watch us have our discussions. And in this discussion, we play lots of screen caps from the episode. So that's what we're referring to. If you're a little bit confused on what we're talking about imagery wise, so check us out on YouTube.
Thank you for that, Watney.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so back to Elnor.
Right.
Yeah, my
sweet baby boy, who I will protect at all costs.
If you
I
like
love him
Elnor,
so much. I do. I love him now. I think he's like, fuck you, Picard. I'm going to come in and do my job because this sword is bound and I'm bored. I can only look at so many stars.
You'll like this.
He's my co-op, my Legolas.
Okay, what are you saying, Big J?
You'll like this. So this was from E3L on r/Picard in the weekly Picard discussion thread. I don't think they chose to live.
Please, my friend, choose to live.
Please choose to live.
Oh, yeah, that was the end. Was that the very last ending thing?
That was the very last thing for this episode. The doors close.
With the buddy cop Hugh?
Oh, yes.
I can't get enough of it. Hugh is so amazing and helpful and understanding and like, oh shit, Soji's having a fucking mental breakdown. We got to go find her. All of a sudden she drops down to the ceiling, which we got to talk about that scene.
We will.
And then And then they run off. There's a secret area, which is like the Queen's area.
The
And
Queen cell.
the Queen cell. They go through this like shifting thing, which I still don't understand, but I guess it was assimilated at some point, which you could pretty much say about anything about the Borg if you have new technology.
It was technology that was assimilated from a race in the Delta Quadrant that
Right.
Voyager
We saw
had been.
on Voyager.
Yeah. I know it's like reference
I
from
have words
other
about that.
areas for sure. We can talk about that too. We'll
Mhm.
make a
Yep,
note.
we're good.
And then they go into this room and they're like, it takes a second to boot up, and then like you need to install like an SSD on this thing. Like, Jesus,
Right.
this is an emergency hatch.
Well, I mean, it's
Get
running
the OS on a fast hard drive.
It's running
Come
freaking
on.
server $23.99. What do you want?
I know,
You
it's
know?
crazy. So then they're like
Microsoft Windows.
talking. He was so helpful. He's amazing.
Mhm.
And then the guards come up, and Soji's like, "Shit, I can't do Power Girl anymore." And Elnor is like, slice and dice. For a second, I wanted him to like I just felt like no one was surprised enough.
Here
that
it
had
is.
happened.
Here's the screen cap right here from
Oh
Voyager.
yeah, if you're watching
It was
YouTube right
Sicarians.
here,
Yeah.
The Sicarians.
that's the reference. Sicarians. Interesting.
So these are the guys who were featured in Voyager episode 1, season 10, who had this technology that you could step through that would take you 40,000 light years max away, being 75,000 light years
Max.
from home. That's like more than halfway. But when Soji references that limit, the technology, and blah, 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 that's really cool. The question is, did the Borg get this technology before the events of the Best of Both Worlds, which is where Picard is assimilated? Because if
Mhm.
they did, then the Queen's line in First Contact, where she tells them, where Picard's like, all the Borg on that ship were killed, and she's like, you don't think fourth dimensionally or something like
You
that.
think in such 3 dimensions.
You're not doing
I
40
think-
chess.
Yeah, I think she could have stepped through this.
Mhm.
This
I think that was the implication.
but if they weren't assimilated till after, time travel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Elnor does the thing, comes inside. Picard's like, "I told you to stay on the ship," and he's like, "I didn't listen."
Mhm.
And I bet you're fucking glad I didn't. And he's like, "Yeah, thanks."
Right.
And this is a artistic interpretation of the
Thanks,
scene,
kid.
of course. But yeah, thanks, kid. I'm sad he stayed behind because I don't know how that's gonna end up. I really like Elnor. I think that he could be so good and develop so much. But he's in good hands with Hugh, and it could be buddy cop, like they're just a great team. I'm just excited. Hugh is so helpful. I love him. Protect them at all costs, which is why I can't stand this Romulan chick.
Oh, can't
Because
stand
we
her.
see a screenshot.
Of
We have
her.
it cycling up here somewhere
Yeah.
of her with a knife to Elnor's
Hugh.
neck.
Hugh.
Hugh. You're right. Hugh's
Yeah.
neck.
So Hugh
And
gets
I'm
caught.
like, get the fuck away from my baby.
Mhm.
Hugh's going to get caught in the next episode. There's also a screen grab up there of her shooting at Elnor, but he's just a blur running around the corner.
Of course he is. He's fucking Neo.
Well,
he
yeah,
is.
He's
I mean,
basically Neo.
He's using
Really? He's
Force
like-
Run. He's using the Force. That's the
He's
Jedi Force.
Qui-Gon. he's Qui-Gon Romulan.
Qui-Gon Romulan, yes. Now, this is...
Romujin.
Did you... Oh, God. How do I mute this? No, I'm just kidding.
Bye, everybody.
we do need to talk about Soji and Ryan's
Ryan.
the whole Romulan what's it called again? The whole Romulan
The Dream Room?
boardwalk, long walk
The
up
boardwalk.
a short
They're just
boardwalk.
walking the pattern. This is the Chronicles of Amber edition of Star Trek. If you guys ever read any Rogers Zelazny, if you haven't, I'm old. Yeah, no, there's a word for it. I don't remember what it is, but it's gonna pop up in the images up there somewhere.
Mhm.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a meditation.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm so surprised it worked the first time, but I guess we were bound to that plot wise.
They just left all the failures on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And
She
Ryan,
gets the middle. Nothing. Okay, try again.
he had a device reminiscent of the one from Star Trek Nemesis. Kind of looked like that little, box open and
Ooh,
radiation.
nice connection.
Come up. Yes.
Wait, I just watched Nemesis the other day.
So at the
Okay.
beginning of Nemesis,
What?
the senator has this little amulet and she leaves it on the table and she bails and the amulet goes chink and then it shoots the stuff up into the air.
Oh my god, it's the same
And then
Yeah.
Home Fry has a Rubik's Cube of Doom, and it opens up, and there's that little statue that comes out, and then it gasses.
Yeah, gases the room.
It gasses Soji, and Soji's like, "Well, screw this! I'm beating my way out of here."
I'm Kirk temper tantruming my way out.
She starts pounding the floor, and I'm thinking, "Oh my god, that's hardwood floor! Don't damage that.
Don't damage my Soji." I like her now,
Yeah.
actually, because she was like, I honestly, before she jumped in that hole that she like clawed out, I was
Mhm.
expecting her to like flip off.
Yeah. Oh, if she would have jumped through that,
I would have
hole and
loved
gave
that, but she was clearly panicking. Yeah.
wow, that would have been great.
We got a lot of growth in Soji this episode. She discovered that her mom is a fake,
Yes.
that her whole life is 37 months old. This
Mhm.
dream program is very reminiscent of Data's dream in Birthright, where he has a dream of his maker making him, sort of an allegory, but instead of a blacksmith and a wing, it's a wooden doll being assembled.
Right. I remember
Now,
this.
I took it as it wasn't a programmed dream, that this really happened. The way I took it was that this was confirming a theory that Soji and Dodge were born, not manufactured to look the way they are now. That they were since that were born, that they were carried in a womb from the material, the positronic material, and then and we talked about that. I think it was last week, the week before, that was the solution that Matt came up with. We can't create a Soong type android the way, so we have to take the ingredients, we have to replicate the ingredients and put it together.
But then
You
make
can't
it the right
replicate
way.
the cookie. So
And that might fit well in if he was in league with Bajazil, and Bajazil's doing all this Borg tech
Mhm.
black market stuff. What if he got hold of they do the thing to the Borg where they make them mature faster? He could have used Borg maturing tech to
right.
them up.
Right. Yeah. I didn't take that as that was a dream program. I think that was a actual memory, because Dodge and Soji were born. They just had accelerated aging.
So evil Cersei and evil Jamie, i.e. Ryan, were talking about it. They're like, why would you give an android a dream program? And they were talking about how there's got to be ways where in her daily life, Soji recognizes things about herself that don't make sense within her normal limits. And how do you reconcile that with your own self? Where does that cognitive dissonance go? He says that. And my idea when I watched it was, it goes into this dream program exists to reconcile these crazy bits that you recognize about your life, so that you wake up going, everything's fine.
Right. She's just reconciling it in the dream.
Right.
And thinking it's a dream.
And evil Cersei is like, so she's got a subconscious, and yeah, okay, that might be what it is, but there's definitely I think there's definitely like a sub programming level that's smarter than she is. Like, it knows that it's a robot, and
Right,
it's like,
she can be activated.
Whatever you do, don't let this part of the brain know that it's a robot, unless
Right.
it's an emergency.
As soon as it becomes like, as soon as the bridge is crossed. As soon as the bridge is crossed, she is activated. Wow, your camera's so blurry. There you go.
And yeah, weird.
As soon as she crosses that bridge and links with the higher part of her brain, the subconscious part that's having these dreams, she becomes activated.
Yeah.
And we see that because she busts through a fucking floor. She digs her way out into a subfloor. And then she drops in front of Picard. And Picard's like, hey, trust me. And she's like, okay. And then they leave.
And it drops in like Batman. And like, come with me if you want to live.
I know. And she has like a serious moment of hesitation, but only a moment, because she's like, I just got to leave this place. And I know these people are going to fucking kill me.
Did you catch this when they were running down the hall? They're running, and one of the XBs, Locutus?
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to rewatch
yes,
again.
Yes, rewatch that. Literally, this
real.
guy just, Locutus.
They all know each other. They all know that this is the Queen's chamber, even though they've never been in one before.
No. It wasn't when they're on the way. When they were on the way to the
when they're running with Soji out of that scene, one of the XBs turns and goes, Locutus?
No, that's what I'm saying. They know
Oh,
that
yeah,
he's
yeah.
Yes,
Locutus.
Yeah.
yes.
They also know that they were in the Queen's chamber
without ever
without
having,
having
been there
ever
before.
been
Right.
in one before.
So
And
about
so-
Soji. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go
Sorry.
ahead. No, you go ahead. I was just
Oh, okay. I was gonna say about Soji's like willingness
Mhm.
to go with them. Remember, Dodge just like trusted Picard. That was part
Right.
of her.
But she
just
acted
knew to
like she
trust him.
didn't.
Soji's been
I think
distracted by Loverboy, so
Soji-
not even thinking about Picard.
Not in that sense. No, she hasn't been in danger. But as soon as Soji saw him, I think that connection was made and it was shown more than it was told.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, totally right. I agree. He came into focus, and she was like,
Yeah.
"That's it."
But why him? Why would, if Bruce Maddox did this, why would he make sure that of all the people that Picard was the one that would be programmed as the safe face?
Because he was good friends with Data.
Okay.
They became good friends, and Data's most important person was Picard.
Okay.
His best friend was Picard, even though some
Mhm.
people wouldn't call them best friends. I think the most important person to Data was Picard. He kind of
Well,
modeled himself after him.
Picard
lending
treated Data
additional
like his
weight
own
to
child,
that.
like his son, like the son he
Yeah.
never had.
Yeah. Lending additional weight to that.
Mhm.
If Maddox was able to get a hold of one of Data's positrons to create Dodge and Soji, the what we're told about fractal neuronic cloning is you can take one positron
Mhm.
and you can use that to reconstitute the entire brain, everything that was already there.
Mhm.
So there's a layer of that brain that knows, trusts, respects, and defers to Picard.
Okay.
So we really think that they found somehow a positronic cell or
Not from
positronic
Data.
neuron
They
from
took
Data.
it from B4.
Right. They
Data
could have
Oh,
taken
uploaded
so
it.
it's
himself to
like
B4
it's like playing telephone, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So B4 is stored at Daystrom,
Mm-hmm.
and the robot facility before it was shut down was also at Daystrom, and Maddox was doing his research at Daystrom. He had clear access to B4 and could totally do that.
So B4, I thought we heard from Girardi B4 didn't have a full upload. Do we assume there's a partial upload? Did we hear that?
We only need one positron.
There was a full
Right, but it has to be the full brain in order to get that one neuron. You know what I'm talking about? Like
it can be a partial copy, but what I got from Nemesis was that it was a full upload. It just didn't take right away, and fast forward, it never did take. But the way they implied it, the way I took it was that the copy and paste from Data to B4 was a complete transfer of the quote unquote folder, the Data folder. It just wasn't merged with the B4 folder.
Okay.
And as that merge, I guess, was happening, look at it as here's the way I look at it, is that you get a copy that happened. It's kind of like doing a BIOS update on a server. Some of them have this thing where when you're doing that BIOS update, it preloads that the BIOS into memory. Then you do your reboot and it applies that.
Okay.
So that's the way I took it, was that the Data, we'll just call it the folder, the
they
Data
downloaded
folder.
it, but they didn't install it.
Well, right. And it was there. No, it was there. It was like, okay, so then let's do this reboot. And then the process of the merge started happening, because at the end of Nemesis, you've got Data or B4 whistling
Blue skies.
Right. Singing Blue Skies. But as time went on, as this, merge is still very slowly, happening, well, then it just kind of started to go downhill, cascade, fail, and done. So it was a full copy. It just, the merge from the staging area just went sideways. But there was plenty of positron to use to do this experiment with.
According to the episode Remembrance, despite his best efforts, Data's attempts to copy his own memory into B4 positronic net had ultimately failed, and that as a result, most of Data's positronic net was lost. Most.
So that says that of all of the network, the fragment that was left, the fragment that was successful, still had Picard in it. The importance of Picard.
Well,
which means it must have been such an overarching thing in Data's character that really does say a lot.
The theory behind fractal neuronic cloning is you can take one positron and think of it like a puzzle. If you have one puzzle piece, you can use fractal neuronic cloning to reconstruct the entire puzzle. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense from the sense of how do you do that? But that's the techno babble that they're using here to say they took one positron and they reconstituted a semblance of Data, his essence.
Yeah, it's no weirder than transporting.
Well, you have the piece, you have the one puzzle piece, and you're able to determine the piece that would be to the right, to the left, to the top and the bottom of that one. And then you start getting the right and the left, the top and bottom of all of the piece, and you start suddenly... Right. Yes. Then you've got your whole puzzle, and so it sounds like that was the theory he went off of was if you're given one puzzle piece, can you recreate the entire puzzle? And I think I see that. I think I can see that. I can understand it. So
there's definitely a piece of Data in Soji for sure.
Yes, there
like
is.
and yeah, regardless of the debate of how much or how little or whatever, there's a part of Data in Soji that knows Picard can be depended on.
Yes, yes, there is.
And that might be the reason why Picard seems like he's throwing these other people to the wind, is because his allegiance to Data is so strong that these people that he just met, yeah, okay, we got you in a little bit of trouble, but Data.
Right. It's like he's so invested in it that he will ask Rafi to sever one of her contacts at Starfleet, a friendship she had.
Well, she didn't know that was going to happen. They didn't know that was going to happen.
Never call me again.
But that's what the ends, the means are. What does it go?
The ends justify the means.
The ends justify the means. So Picard asked her to do that, and she's like, I can do it. But it did result in the end of like this happening, and that's just another loss for Rafi. It's just another loss for her. Yeah. So I think Picard is very laser focused on Soji, Data, the past, and I'm wondering. I'm kind of starting to dig like the rest of the ensemble, so we'll just see how that happens, see how that unfolds. So overall, I like this episode a lot. It was probably my favorite one. Yeah, and we haven't even seen Troy and Riker.
If we did not do any other episode review and we ended on Watney liking an episode, I think that would be a great way to retire the podcast, because she's finally happy now. You can see it. Yeah, for anyone who's just listening, you've got to watch this. She's glowing.
Well, this is literally what happens when the writing is done well, and when Trek is good, it can be so good, but it's just been so transparent, opaque to me, like just thin. And now I'm starting to get into like the meat of these characters. We're not rushing to get them in space, even though it felt like the longest rush ever for some reason. Like we spent 5 episodes just getting them into damn space, or like to where they needed to be. I don't know. I am happy.
I want to defend your skepticism as well. We all don't have to be on the same page.
Sure, that's
absolutely loving. I already admit that I'm biased because it's Star Trek, and I'm just going to be there for it. So I appreciate your skepticism, because it does actually force me to go, am I fanboying on this, or did I genuinely like this? And most of the time I'm fanboying. I'm like,
right. I understand. And lots of fans have been fans since they were kids. They watched it with their parents.
Yes.
I started watching it in college. I binge watched it on Netflix in like 2010, 11 when it came out, maybe 12. I don't know. So that's where my like history really kind of is. I did see First Contact when I was little, but so I understand that people have a very nostalgic lens.
I started when I was
Star
5.
Trek. Exactly,
with
Big
Wrath
J.
of Khan.
You're on that. You're exactly the type of person I'm talking about,
Mhm.
and I understand the love and like the want for it to be great. And if it is great to you, I love that. I take a more critical eye to writing. And sometimes I can come off as harsh, but I really, really did enjoy this episode. And I'm excited for the next one.
Here's the way that I look at it. So my son Nacho is the same age now as I was when the Next Generation aired. No, I take that back. I was 10 when TNG aired, and so Picard came up as he's 13. Okay, so close within
When TG was
2-3
getting
years.
good.
You're right, when TG was getting good. So for me,
Yeah.
it's like this is great that I've got a generation here to.
You said your son's coming up on 13.
No, he's 14.
Oh, okay. So he's the same age you were when you got to see Best of Both Worlds Part 2.
Yes. Yep. That's right. Yeah. So some final thoughts here. What do we have?
I've given mine. You guys go ahead.
I would like to give this episode 7 in butts out of 9.
Out of 9 butts.
Out of 9 butts. Okay.
Out of 9 in butts.
In butts.
Because we're in butting, not butting in. Elnor.
I think.
Okay.
I think I would give it a 8 out of 9 in butts. So, it was good. We're really starting to get somewhere there. Watney, how can our listeners and viewers find us?
Well, I'll tell you, Big J. So you can find us a number of places. Anywhere you listen to podcasts online, you can find us, specifically Spotify, Anchor.fm. You can support us there. We also have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/BeyondTrek. Twitter, you can find us at BeyondTrekPod, and Facebook.com/BeyondTrek Productions. You can find us there too.
Yes, sure can. And we would like to hear from you, from our listeners and viewers. If you have some input or take that you'd like to make about either the most recent episode or just the where the series is up to that point, feel free to give us a little recording. You can record yourself on your phone, whatever it is, and just attach that, upload it, get it to us at beyondtrekpodcast@gmail.com and or beyondtrekproductions@gmail.com. Doesn't matter. We got both. Because we'd like to hear from you, and we will put you in at the end of the episode a little segment of some fan story, fan reaction, whether it be praise or rant, whatever it may be. So let us know what you think, and we will be back again.
Write us.
Oh yes, please write us. We would love to hear from you, just to make sure we're not just fanboying this and that we're. Oh, there's the cat. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, that's the cat.
And we're going to have Watney's cat meow.
She's the mascot.
Some input. Yes.
We're going to have to create a hashtag and lobby for the cat to be on Star Trek Picard.
Yes, we need a new cat.
It'll be
You've
Spot
always
too.
got to have it's going to be Clementine.
Who got Spot at the end of Nemesis? Thank you for listening to Beyond Trek Podcast.
No! Okay, we gotta go, people. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. See ya.
Cheers, everybody.
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your ears. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.